All right, you just got your PAKMULE SCOUT delivered to the house. Let's see how we get it put together. Easy to identify the flap, open here, just like a pizza box. Inside you've got a secondary box that has the tongue inside of it. In this case we've got a riser, and this is the black powder coated version. You're going to pull the tongue out, take the insert, discard the insert, and then your second pizza box has your riser. You've got 4 brackets, and then your hardware in this spacer box. If you got the straight tongue, you don't have to mount these brackets. They're already attached. The riser, though, because of the size and the space, we have to remove these so that they all fit into the same box. But we're going to show you the quickest, easiest way to get all that mounted. You're going to want to get a 14mm wrench and a 14mm socket on a ratchet to make it quick and easy. We do include some wrenches for last-ditch effort, but you're not really going to enjoy putting it all together that way. So really recommend getting a 14mm ratchet socket and a wrench. So you've got one for each side of the bolt to make it quick, fast. Let's show you how to get it all put together and get you on the trail. All right, so you either got the straight tongue, which comes with the brackets installed, or a riser where you need to install the brackets. The easiest way to go forward from here is to put the tongue in the hitch. Then you're going to drop the basket on top and get it bolted together. If you got the riser, make sure you watch the riser video. Okay, now that you've got the basket onto the tongue, you'll realize you've just got 2 bolts in the front, 2 in the back, and 2 screws in the middle. The floor has a little bit of flex to it. We want to be able to compress it down all the way to put the bolts in. What we recommend to most folks is to go ahead and put the screws in first, make sure those are aligned. That gives you the ability to shift it forward or back some. For this step, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver and then your 14mm wrench and socket ratchet set. Okay, let's put the 2 screws in first. Okay, you don't want to over tighten these. All we're doing is preventing this metal from rattling against the tongue. So just hand screwdriver, hand tight. You don't want to use an impact gun or anything, or you could snap that screw. They're relatively small. They are high tensile strength, but that's all we're looking to try to do with those. Okay, you have 4 sets of bolts that have 2 washers and a nut on them that are short. We're going to go ahead and push this section down. And you may have to thread this bolt in depending on how tight it is. In most cases you can hand thread it. In some cases you may need to put the wrench on it to get it all the way through. Take our second bolt and do the same thing. Okay, now we're going to put the bolts in the rear before we put the washers and nuts on those front bolts. If you've got the riser, you've got plenty of room between the vehicle and the Scout to be able to work back here. If you got the straight tongue, you're going to have to sort of reach in from the side. You won't have as much room here, but still a lot simpler to have it in the hitch. And since you don't have the pin in, if you need a little more space, you can always slide it out some. Just be careful you don't go too far where it's going to fall out of your hitch. Okay, all those are in place. We're going to put the washer and nut on the back side of this bolt. Okay, now we're going to put the washer and nut on the front, get these tightened up, and we are almost done. All right, we've got all our hardware. The Scout's assembled. You can see how much faster it is with a ratchet and a 14mm, so we definitely recommend if you've got those in your garage, go ahead and grab those or borrow them from a neighbor. Again, these tolerances are tight, so you may find some resistance in getting these bolts in. Remember not to force the screws from the top in, and otherwise it's pretty straightforward. This took us about 15 minutes to put everything together. Of course, we've done this a bunch, so we know to already have these tools. We know what we're expecting. It may take you 30 minutes at most as a first-time assembly. Otherwise, very straightforward, pretty simple. If you have the straight tongue, it already comes with the bracket, so all you're doing is these 4 bolts and 2 screws. Okay, now that everything's assembled, It's time to install it into the hitch. We'll go through those details in another video. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. If you have any questions, be sure to call us at the office or send us an email, and we'll be sure to get right back to you. Look forward to seeing you on the trail.